Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Football United TV. This is the Introduce Yourself show, and I'm here with Michelle Sanchez. Yes, people, welcome back to the show. Happy Sunday. We are here today with very special guest, Michelle Sanchez. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm just waking up, and I love the way you say Michelle. It's so nice to hear it differently because it's always like here, Michelle. I'm obviously in Texas, United States. But yes, I'm doing very well. How are you?
Very well. Of course, we're on a different time zone now, so you've only just woken up. You're having your coffee. You're waking up. I'm about to go to bed very soon. So we're on a different level on that sort of side of things, but we are here to talk about everything you're doing right now in your career. You're a news producer. Let everybody know, Michelle, like what it is you do, how you got into it, and where you feel you want to go in the future.
Of course. So it all started back in, no, I'm just kidding. Well, I've always, since I was a kid, I used to play soccer. I have two brothers. My dad was taking us to soccer games. So I got introduced to the sport by my father. And then, obviously I have two brothers. So I became what you call a tomboy. And then I knew that I wanted to be in front of the camera. I didn't know how I wanted to get there. And then I, was after watching several matches, World Cups, you start to see more female figures on TV. So I was like, I want to do that. That looks fun. Not really knowing what I was going to get into because, wow, what a career, what a crazy career it is to get into and to break into. So I went to school, studied journalism at the University of Texas. I looked up to see which programs or which universities offer the best programs. UT is home. Austin is home. I live in Austin, Texas. UT is here. And I got in. After a lot of studying, I got in, transferred in. I was a transfer student. So I was a little bit behind in the sense that curriculum, you enter as a basically junior, but you take freshman classes. Right. Very weird. But I got in and 2 years later, I graduated. I've met some really cool people. When it comes to football, American football, not football, soccer. And
well done there. Well done.
Exactly. And so, my career was there, but I was very advocate of the sport growing, not only in soccer, but in the United States, mostly in Austin, though, not really knowing that Austin was going to eventually have a, football team, Austin FC now. But when I was in college, I always wanted to talk to the people that I wanted to be like. So I reached out to Grant Walt. A lot of people may know Grant Walt. Used to work at Sports Illustrated. People may know Kate Abdo. They've been colleagues in the past. So I kind of reached out to him through Twitter, and he's been like a mentor friend ever since. Because I thought he was an excellent sports writer. So after that, started working a little bit of production work, a little bit of internships. In this business, you really need your contacts in order to break into it and whatever you want to do. And then just really put yourself out there. So being an extrovert is really good in this business. And yeah, I've done everything. I got into a new station here locally. I was a production assistant, would wake up 4 a.m. to noon. I would work those crazy hours, and then I would go to a production company where when I was in college, pitched a story idea. It was like a paranormal story. So it got picked up by Network, Disney Channel.
Yeah.
So I got a few, a good amount of, I got an opportunity to work for them. And then I got a nice amount of money that I could put into my savings account, because those companies have really good, they have money that they can spare. Right. To give like a recent graduate, for me, was everything. So I would work some crazy hours, try to get myself into sports and wherever I could. Luckily along the way, I've had some really good bosses that are very encouraging, supportive. I think that's really what it is that you need as well. And so I got into news, because you need a 9-to-5, or you need, some kind of income if freelance is only going to give you so much security, I guess. And then, soccer clubs started coming, Liga MX, Chivas came. I got my first interview with Alan Pulido, who, is a big name in the sport. He was the nicest guy ever. No one wanted to give me an interview. I was like, I just have one question. I was like, would you ever see yourself playing here in the MLS? And, fast forward, now he's in the MLS. So he always opened the doors to that. He said it would be something that he would see both leagues, kind of uniting, working together.
Where's he playing now, Michelle?
Sporting Kansas.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he plays with Sporting Kansas. And so, yeah. And then, everyone else came. Chicharito, Dos Santos, and right now, actually, Marcelo Flores, I don't know if you have any Arsenal fans watching, but he's making the rounds. He played recently here in Austin. People were very excited to see him because he's making a lot of noise for the, Selección Mexicana, the national team. So yeah, and, I've just been very vocal on social media. I think that really helps. And any opportunity that I get now, luckily, Austin FC is here. I, ask questions. I try to be out there because it's only in a room full of journalists, it's only me as a woman, maybe 2-3 people, and then everyone else is men, which is nice, because sometimes it does give you a perk. They give you the opportunity to ask the questions first.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of hustle. A lot of these times when I go to press conferences, I don't get paid. A lot of people assume that I get paid for it. No, I get paid to be at the station from 9 to 5. Everything else that I want to do, I need to do it on my own time. Which I don't mind, because it's what I love, and I want to be an advocate for other women to get into the sport as well. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, because we've actually done some vlogs recently about women in football, and spoke to an association or a group called Her Game Too, which campaigns for clubs to sort of get on board with making it quality, equality for everybody, not just men, women, but gay and LGBTQ.
Right.
So everybody should be involved in the sport. So it is nice to hear that you're doing it. You said there's 3 women out of a whole group of men. You must feel like, wow, this is great, because like we're coming into the game now, and you can't just rule, men just can't rule it. So it's really nice to hear. What, Michelle, do you make of women in football at the moment? You think it's really good to see, and it's going a long way, isn't it? Women's football.
Right, it's going a long way, and not even the sports. Recently, to try to connect locally, Julia Grosso graduated from UT. won a gold medal for the Canadians women's team. She played here at UT Soccer, Texas Soccer, and now she's going overseas to play for Juventus for the women's team. So it's growing, and it's beautiful to see that growth, and not only on the field but outside of the field. I know there's like I've said, Kay Abdo, I follow very closely, Jenny Chu. Those are just two that. There's many more figures out there that have done a great job. You have Rachel Bonetta as well. But it's always about getting your foot in and just having one person say, hey, yeah, let's go. You're getting a lot of views, or I think you have a great potential to expand on this or contribute to whether it's a network or a team, because now teams are getting their own reporters as well, which is nice. And then just going out there and getting hungry and basically going out there and doing the work.
Exactly. I will ask you something else. We'll just look at some comments. If you have got any questions for Michelle, please put them in the comments. We will read them out, and hopefully, Michelle, if you don't mind, might like to answer a few. Got one here from Solo. Please hit the subscribe button on the road to 700. Thank you so much from the Man United Agenda. Amondi, big up Amondi from the Man United Agenda. The MLS ain't a joke league anymore. Grassroots in the States starting to produce some ballers. Hopefully soccer will start to trump those traditional American so-called sports.
I agree. Those are strong words, but I agree. Yes, the academy, there's a lot of players that are coming out. One example that is making the rounds and people are starting to notice is Ricardo Pepi. I know he got called as well. FC Dallas, right down the street, product. And, they're starting to grow. And it's really nice to see the sport grow rather than just see American football or basketball. It's no joke anymore. I'm a Liga MX fan, and, sometimes those games are very equal, and, Mexico's leagues are pretty well, obviously nothing compared to EPL, because EPL is the best, but yeah, it's starting to grow. It's no joke. You see USA winning 3 times consecutively over Mexico, and on this side of the country is usually the powerhouse. It was some questionable calls from Tata Martino, but yeah, it's USA doing a good job for the league itself, and then making product within young players to expand it and grow.
What do you think of this whole talk of maybe the 2 leagues merging together? Have you heard of that? That they've been looking at doing that? What do you think of that? Do you think that would be a good thing, or do you think that would be bad?
I think it would be a great thing, because you have a lot of Mexican Americans here in the States, and just Latinos in general, that want to see that a little bit more. You want the MLS to have a competition. There's really not another league that would be able to compete. So I think strategically, it's going to be a little bit hard to try to figure out the schedules. But from what I hear from Liga MX, Mike Ariola, president, and Don from MLS, they're very happy and excited to do this. And moving forward, hopefully it's something that we'll be able to see more and more, because they do have some CONCACAF tournaments. But hopefully some in the future we'll see more of a like UEFA, I guess.
Is your headphones rubbing on your jumper a little bit there?
Oh, is there? I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. I think it's cool. There we go.
Okay.
So got one from Talk MU here. Yes, Amondi, the MLS is on the up. Times are changing. Females are being encouraged to enter sports broadcasting. Richard Keys and Andy Gray are not happy. I don't know if you know them 2 people. They got done for sexism. They were for the Premier League. They were on Sky Sports, and they said to them, "Sexist remarks," to I think a co-presenter and a lineswoman, and they got chopped years ago, and it's just really changed since then. So it's very nice to see Does Michelle know whatever happened to great Mexican striker Hugo Sanchez? Ain't heard about him in years. Go, Michelle.
Hugo Sanchez, he is well and he's alive. Thanks for asking. Yes, he's a legend. Played for Real Madrid, as you would know, for a long time. Played for Pumas. Pumas from Liga MX fans love him, adore him. He works as a commentator analyst for ESPN Deportes. So if you don't, I think he was actually in England. From what I saw on his social media. But he's a commentator, just like a lot of athletes that get, retire and they go into what is, commentating, being a color analyst. So he works at ESPN Deportes. He's another great one. So yeah.
What do you, we were talking about Austin FC. That's the team that you support. They're a pretty new team, right? How do you feel about them coming into the MLS? I mean, it's exciting for the city as well. Is the city on board with it? I mean, is it getting a lot of support?
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen on social media, but Austin FC has one of the best fan bases. Austin, it's like a melting pot. You see everything, all races in one supporter section, and they just bring the bombos and the tifos, and it's just crazy. I haven't been to an EPL game. I think that's on my bucket list for next December. But I hear from other people that when they compare the two, it's very similar. So the city loves it. They're welcoming it. They're hoping to get an NWSL team here, a women's team, and Austin FC is great. I mean, they struggled this season very much so, but it was exciting to see a few goals. They did better when they were at home rather than on the road. They started their season on the road with 8 games back to back, but that's not an excuse. These are professional players. They need to, this is what they do. But the city loves it. It's very, you see young talent. Musa Jite he's a Senegal player, came from, I believe, I would think it was like a second division French team. I forget the name of it. But a lot of people love him. He's really great. He's someone exciting to see for next year. You have Diego Fergundes as well. He's from Uruguay, a great player. He really gives it out. And then you have the Argentinian, Sebastian Driussi. There you go. Sebastian Driussi, who just came from over there, from Russia. I think his club went to the, was it UEFA? Or I think they were playing the Euros, Schalke, I believe that's where
Schalke 05, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's where he came from. The club, I think they traded him, transferred him. So he's another promising player. So Austin FC has some good figures, but in their team, but we'll see what happens next. The city is very happy, excited. It's Austin's first professional team because Dallas has, basketball, football, and then they obviously have soccer and hockey. And then, right down the street, Houston, they have as well the same thing minus hockey. I don't think they have a hockey team. And so it's very exciting for Austin. As a woman in sports, I always thought, and it was scary, that I was going to have to move to another city in the States to go pursue soccer. I always thought maybe I'll go to Europe. I don't know, maybe I'll do a study abroad program and see if I like it, see how hard it is. But I imagine it's hard as well, super competitive. But I've been lucky that it came to me. And so anyone out there who wants to do sports, whether you're a man or a woman, or you just want to get involved, I just encourage you to be vocal, put yourself out there, don't be shy, and basically what you have going on, which is very impressive, by the way. I loved your intro. I felt like I was watching like a game or something. Wow, I'm ready to watch whatever this match is.
You like that the music for the intro, right? I mean, everybody kind of moves when it comes on. They're sort of like loving it. Got some more comments here for you, Michelle. Eagle-eyed football evening, Matt and Michelle. Niall came. Big up Matt and Michelle. Hi, Niall and Eagle. Here's a question for you, I think, or maybe just a comment. I was coaching in Chicago in 2012, and I said it then that the MLS is going to take football seriously and thrive.
Yeah, and it was about time someone saw the obvious. So Don has done a really good in the MLS, trying to ramp it up. I think in Chicago they switched the stadiums because it was in the outskirts of Chicago back in the day. Now it's a little bit more in the city. I think the commute was a little hard for them to plan. But yeah, Chicago, they've done okay in the league. But what can I say about them? I know very little. But NYCFC are the new champs, and the first time that they won it ever. So I didn't think that was going to happen. So it's getting exciting. Comparing both finals though, from Liga MX to MLS, I don't know why Liga MX was just so much funner to watch. I just think some of the penalty kicks were a little silly mistakes that were made by the players, but it'll get there. I try not to compare, but here I am comparing. And that's what
Well, you've got to compare, haven't you, I guess, because people will compare them. They're so close together, the two countries and the two leagues. So you're going to have, I guess you've got a lot of fans, American fans that like the Mexican league. It's quite big in America, isn't it? The Mexican league, which people probably don't realize. Eagle Eye Football, High Talk. Another question here for you, and I was going to ask you this anyway. It's from Talk MU. Big up. What team in the Premier League do you support, Michelle? I guess support or follow or like, because obviously you're Austin FC day and night, aren't you?
Yes. However, the new champs of England, so Chelsea. I followed Chelsea, and it was very fun. I got to meet Ashley Cole, and this is another thing that I say about social media and just putting yourself out there. When there was a festival going on, an APL Fest, and a very cool story. Some guys reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, you're a Chelsea fan. We're doing this Chelsea event happening down in downtown in Austin." And, it was nothing but Chelsea supporters. I was there. I took my brother, who's the bigger Chelsea fan than I am. And we were just there hanging out. And then the guy goes, "Hey, I'm going to bring out a surprise for you guys. And it's Ashley Cole." And I was like, it was crazy, very exciting, because that doesn't happen here, and especially in Austin, Texas. It doesn't happen here. I could see, New York, other big cities, LA, seeing big stars in football hanging out. But yeah, it was here, Austin. Ashley Cole, a big, figure, legend for the club. And so, yeah, that's who I follow. And it's very exciting. And we won a Frank Lampard book that it was, I don't know if it was like a book that he had his first season as a coach that they gave us. And so very kind. Everyone was really nice. So, yeah.
There you go, everybody. Chelsea fans. So if you like Arsenal as well, you will not like that Ashley Cole story, because obviously he came from Arsenal and he left Arsenal for Chelsea. So sorry, Arsenal fans.
Sorry.
Big up to the Chelsea fans out there. Come and watch the mighty Crystal Palace. Best atmosphere in the league, Eagle Eyed Football says, Michelle. Do you know much about Palace?
Yes, I do. They do have a really great fan base. But I would say Liverpool has a pretty good one as well, huh?
Yes, it was. You know what? I was actually going to say, I thought you was going to pick out Patrick Vieira there, because obviously he's the manager at Crystal Palace, and he did have a bit of a brief spell in the MLS, didn't he?
He did, and Liverpool does as well, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, and then Manchester City. I don't know about United. Does United have one? I don't know.
Have what? Sorry. Say that again.
Does United have MLS, I guess, money, investment, or owner? I don't know.
Yeah, do you know who owns Man United?
No.
They're called the Glazers. They're an American family.
Oh.
Man United probably make the most amount of money than any football
Oh
club.
yes, this I do know. They crazy.
I think they're up there with like Dallas Cowboys and the New York Yankees, that sort of brand. That's how big Man United are for brands. Yeah, I mean, of course, Chelsea have got Abramovich, haven't they? The Russian tycoon, oil tycoon. So he's got a lot of money. But the richest club in the world, Michelle, you might not know this, is Newcastle United.
I didn't know that.
There you go. They've just been bought by a Saudi-backed, I guess, corporation that literally has, I think, something silly like hundreds of billions. Where Man City has about 25 billion, they have double, treble that. So it's a lot of money.
That's crazy.
A lot of money going into it. And I mean, look, the MLS, Michelle, it brings out a lot of youth players. I think that's the sort of strategy that the MLS are doing at the moment, isn't it? Because they can't exactly attract prime time talent from Europe over. They usually get them at the end of their career. So if you bring out youthful talent in the MLS, it makes the league more interesting for people like in Europe and South America.
Right. And yeah, on that note, yes. But it is very important for MLS to get these big stars, either who are coming out of retire or going into retirement, I guess, quote unquote, they say, the retirement league, into the MLS, because, you know, I mean, you want people to be excited and whatnot. But yeah, I've seen these like young players coming out of the MLS and, you know, making some noise worldwide. Like Ricardo Pepi, Marcelo Flores, or just like any, you know, Pulisic. It's very important. But yeah, I agree. Very fun.
What do you think about this comment as well, Michelle? It's from a Monday as well. Big up. With MLS in America being so vast, is it an advantage for teams acclimatized to the heat versus teams, say, from the East Coast or Canada? Does it make a difference, like depending on altitude and temperature?
Yeah, it does make a difference, especially if you're coming from a place very, very cold. Austin can be super hot, super humid. You know, it was hot, you know, this week, and we were like in the 90s, and it's December. It's crazy. And, you know, now we're in the 50s. So now I get to wear my sweater. But yeah, it does make a difference. The cool thing that I saw the other day when I went to the Austin FC training facility is that they have this room where they're able to up the, I guess, inclination or what it is. So whenever the club travels to Colorado, since it's, you know, different, they're able to train in there to get their bodies used to the way, you know, the way their bodies responds to when they're over there. So yeah, it does make a difference, but you know, that's why we have Eastern and Western divisions, you know.
Right. So. Yeah, you don't want to be getting on a 5-hour flight to go and face LA Galaxy if you're New York Red Bulls, and then you've got a game like midweek. It's quite difficult, isn't it? And because of the time differences as well, I guess jet lag a little bit might come into play. So that's why they keep it as close as possible.
Right. But even then, they're fancy. They have their own plane, so they're fine. The jet lag is for the journalists.
There you go. Look, you got a Chelsea boo from a Crystal Palace fan there. Look, another boo. Look. Oh dear, Michelle, what do you think about Man United? That's a good question, seeing as I'm a Man United fan.
The Red Devils. Very fun. They're a fun team to follow, especially now before getting on live. I was asking about Cristiano Ronaldo coming back to the club, and I was excited, and I was not even a Manchester United fan, but now I follow a little bit more Manchester United because of Cristiano Ronaldo. I want to see how he's doing, because he's, you know, one of the best footballers ever, alongside with like Pele and of course Messi. Some would argue. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, I mean, you know, I wish Manchester United well, but you know, they're a good club. I mean, but Chelsea all the way.
There you go. There's no swaying you over to the devil side, right? No,
No.
you're fully a Chelsea lion.
Unless I go to England. So I do have plans of going to England next year for Christmas, because I hear it's very beautiful and I like Christmas. I've been to New York several times, but I feel like it's comparing the both. I want to compare it. I want to have the opportunity to compare, and then just go to a pub and watch a soccer game, because I hear they're so fun. So it doesn't matter. It could be Chelsea. It could be Manchester United. So we'll see. Go to Stamford Bridge. I don't know.
Yeah, it's London's great for Christmas. It's like a Charles Dickens sort of feel to it, you know, sitting in a pub, frosty windows, football on the TV.
I love it.
It's a beautiful thing. What was I going to ask you actually about? Oh my God, I've forgotten now. Oh my God, brain freeze. Right. Okay. Let's read a comment so I can get my mind back on track. Talk to me about my favorite player, Carlos Valderrama. He smashed it in the MLS. What a player. Made the game look so easy.
He's Carlos Valderrama. I mean, I was born in 1992, so what can I tell you? I just remember seeing his big hair on TV, and he was amazing. He's one of the best footballers out there as well. What does he do now? I think he does a little bit of commentating as well, but I think he just hangs out and lives his best life. I did see on social media recently that he cut his hair, but I think that was a joke.
I was going to say, Michelle, maybe he's become a hairdresser now.
Yeah, no, but Colombia during that time, they were a powerhouse as well. You know, and it's always, you know, Colombia, Argentina, Brazil, you know, always going at it with one another. But, you know, some great talent coming from Latin America. I mean, what can I say about him? He's one of the best. He's a GOAT, as you say. He smashed the MLS. Yes, 100%. Yes. But, you know, unfortunately, the MLS wasn't as big when he was here, you know, like now. Now I think it's getting more views. Networks are starting to invest a little bit more. So we're able to see that. I mean, even in the English Premier League, Univision, which is a Spanish language channel, you know, they broadcast EPL matches and whatnot. The champions, they broadcast it. And before it really wasn't. It was just in English. So I was a little bit late to the game when it came to EPL and all the Fergundes and Serie A and La Liga. But yeah.
Another question here. I've got a few more for you, and then I've got one more for you. Then we'll wrap it up, Michelle. Chelsea dropping points, Michelle. Do you think you can still win the league?
I think so. What do you? I think so. I think in this league, it's a crazy. I mean, look what happened prior. But I think Chelsea still has it all the way. I mean, Lukaku, great. I think the team is doing very great. So I think so. I think there's still an opportunity and some hope.
One more here from Anthony. The MLS is good and attract good play, especially LB. We got one over here called Matt King. He was always LB in the change rooms. LB left back, basically. I was always left back in the change rooms. He's taken the mickey out of me, Michelle. So we'll just move on from that comment. Naughty boy, Anthony. Laugh my ass off, Anthony. There we go. Right, Michelle, my last question for you was, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Put some comments in if you want. Thank you for liking and sharing. And before we finish up, I've got to ask you one question, and I think you might like this.
Please feel free to ask me any questions that you may have. I know I ran through my career. Like, it didn't take me 5 years to get to where I'm at. But yes, I mean, ask me anything that you want about Austin FC, about soccer here in Austin locally, blah, blah, blah. Go ahead.
I'll ask this question and then I'll ask you a question for you. Are there any MLS or Liga MX prospects to keep an eye out for?
Yes. Well, if you follow Sebastian Cordova is a really good one. MLS, Ricardo Pepi. Who else can I say? I mean, so many. You have Rodolfo Pizarro's a great one, but he's going back to Liga MLS. Dos Santos is leaving MLS to go back, I believe, has been confirmed, to Liga MX. Who else? I mean, Just too many. I mean, I would say, to your Arsenal fans, I would just say he's going to be a great footballer, Marcelo Flores.
There you go. See, everybody, you're getting all the information that you want. Last one from the comments I'm reading out, then I'm going to ask Michelle a question, which is quite interesting. Christmas time with Vaughan, big up. What was the deal with Freddie Adu?
Freddie Adu, like many players, was very good until he wasn't, until he just kind of fell off. And that's where Freddie Adu's career left. He was good until he wasn't, unfortunately. He's one of those players that you hear a lot of noise from and that they're going to make a difference. They're the next star. And then you just kind of fell off. And that's basically, unfortunately what happens to these footballers.
Okay, I'm going to let Anthony have one more because it is a good question. Who's your favorite player for the USA international football team? Men and women's. There you go. I'm put both in there.
Well, who's your favorite player for the U.S. international football team? I would say in the present, I think you have to go with Christian Pulisic. I mean, the kid is really great. I mean, there's a reason why he's in Chelsea. I don't know if he's going to stay in Chelsea for any longer, but he's one of the favorites. And then in the past, Landon Donovan, even though he knew how to. I respect him because every time it was Mexico, USA. I'm Mexican American, but I identify with my Mexican side a little bit more because my parents were immigrants, became residents in the States, and I'm lucky to live the American dream. But I identify a little bit more with the Mexican side. So whenever Mexico and USA would play, he always made a good job to rile us up, but he was a great player. Tim Howard was a great goalkeeper as well. So we'll see. David Ochoa from Real Salt Lake is another goalkeeper to keep an eye out as well. He may be in the next World Cup for Mexico, at least when it comes to that. But USA has some really good players coming up as well.
There you go, everybody. Good question about Adu. Was hoping he represent us, Ghana, but he didn't. Big up Vaughan. He was a refugee from there, wasn't he? Possibly. I don't know too much about that. Talking you, hi, Stuart. Clint Dempsey was a good player. Very good.
He's from San Antonio. Yeah, he's right down the street he's a Texan. As they would say, he's a Texan.
Like that. Very fresh panel. Yeah, Vaughan. What's your thoughts on what Beckham has done for American soccer and obviously Inter Miami?
Yeah, well, Inter Miami, I mean, they've gotten in trouble in the MLS when it comes to money and stuff like that, not really following the rules, buying really expensive players. And, you have a certain limit to that in every league, in every sport. I don't know. I think Inter Miami, they've done good, but the powerhouse in Florida is Orlando. I just think David Beckham was able to bring the fame, the David Beckham, his trademark to America. And obviously he's, a former soccer player. But that's, and he was able to grow. So I give him credit for that. His team, not so. His team's okay, but everyone's excited to see a David Beckham. So that's what he comes, to the team.
Exactly. Shout out to Navo Joa and in Sonora. Matt is trying to ask a question. Yes, I am. I'm going to ask it now. So my question is, do you think someday you will see Ronaldo and Messi play in the MLS before they retire? Do you think it will happen?
You need a team with a lot of money who wants to spend that kind of money here. The thing that I find about MLS is that they're not going to be a club like in Europe, a club like in Mexico, where they're spending millions and millions of dollars for one player. I've unfortunately come to learn that the harsh reality to that is very slim. So will Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi come to the MLS? I don't know. I don't know if owners want to spend that money, but I think there's a hope because they're really big players. So I think that would be just like amazing. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. It seems like Cristiano Ronaldo, growing his family, he may just want to end his career in England for Manchester United. I don't know. This is me just talking out there. And then Messi, I don't know. I think he would want to go to Argentina.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Boca Juniors, right, would probably be the place for him, seeing as Maradona and loads of other Argentinian players always want to go back. I think even Cavani wants to go back to Boca Juniors at some point. So it's something about the club over there that attracts players to retire at.
Right, River Plate, Boca Juniors. I mean, they're big clubs, and they're star players. So yeah, they want to go back, as they say, home. For the homecoming, just we're going to Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't know if he may go back to Portugal, but I think Manchester United is what upped his career, and then he went.
Yeah. He comes back to us. I'm so happy that he did as well. It's nice to see him back. It was a fairy tale for me as a Man United fan. So really nice to see. Michelle, we're going to finish it up there. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'd really love to have you back on again sometime. I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. Yes. I know I spoke 100 miles an hour, and yeah, we can come back once the season starts going again here in Austin. If you want to focus just on Austin FC or the conference, or how their season is going, et cetera, I'm more than happy to be on, and then give you some scoop that may be going, what our stars are and whatnot, and what's going on in the MLS.
That'd be brilliant. Are you able to let everybody know and find where you are, and so they can come and check you out and check your Twitters, etc.?
Yes.
Michelle.
Of course, my Instagram is Michelle Sanchez _TV. And then my Twitter, which I do not have memorized, shame on me, it's Michelle S _TV. And then I have Facebook, but who really gets on Facebook these days? So you can follow me on those two. And I do news producing Spanish channel. So it's Telemundo Austin, but I don't know how many Spanish speakers we have on here, but I appreciate you for following me and showing me love, and I had such a great time.
Brilliant. Thank you, Michelle. We do the co-owner of the channel, he's from Rio, so we do get around the world quite a bit, and we are starting a show soon called Theta, which is called Football in the Americas. So we're going to do that, which is going to literally go south and north and central. So we're going to cover every league and bring fans on from these leagues that can speak either English or Portuguese, because he's Brazilian Portuguese. So one or the other, that would be great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
And I'm going to take a boomerang for the Instagram. Say hello.
Hello.
I love that. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. And Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. And I hope to see you and meet you in person maybe next year.
Yeah, brilliant. Come over and say hi. Come watch a football game with us.
Yes.
And everybody that's tuned in as well, smash like, smash subscribe if you can. We are a few away from 700. And did I say share? I
don't think you did, but everyone share this. It was very fun.
It's the most important thing about them free options. Share if you can. It means so much. We're back on actually in about 20 minutes for the Premier League weekend show. Come tune in. Come have a talk about what's happened this weekend. Not too many games, lots of cancellations due to this new variant, Omicron. So it'll be a brief one, but tune in the next 20 minutes. Until then, enjoy the rest of your weekend, your Sundays in Texas too, Michelle, Austin.
Thank you so much.
And take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.